Today, the tenant will sign the residential tenancy agreement, which will allow the tenant to occupy the rental property. This agreement, commonly called a lease, has important implications for the tenant, and this video will provide information about each of the parts. The first of these parts is the agreement itself. Part 1, the residential tenancy agreement. This sets out the tenant details, the landlord details, the agency details, the rent to be paid, etc. It is important that this document is read carefully to identify and correct any errors. Part 2 contains the terms of the agreement. Part 3 is the condition report, which describes the current condition of the property the tenant is about to move into. It is very important that when the tenant first moves into the property, they take a bit of time to go through this report to determine if they agree with the comments provided by the agency or not. If there is anything the tenant does not agree with, they need to mark it on the report and return a copy of this report to the office within 7 days. When collecting the keys to the property, the tenant will need to pay 2 weeks' rent and also another 4 weeks' worth of rent, which is the bond, also known as a security deposit, which they would have already paid. Tenant will pay the rent each week by direct debit from their nominated bank account. This means they will never have to remember to pay rent again. It will happen automatically every Thursday night. If during the tenancy there is a repair or maintenance issue, the tenant can report this online via the agency's website or via the apps available for Apple and Android smartphones. The tenant is expected to pay for all services while they are renting the property, such as gas, electricity, phone and internet, plus water usage, which will be billed to the tenant each quarter. At regular intervals, property inspections will occur to ensure the property is well maintained and that there are no repair or maintenance issues. When the time comes for the tenant to leave the property, the tenant can provide notice. The condition report, which is part of the residential tenancy agreement, will be used to determine if the tenant is leaving the property in the same condition as it was at the beginning of the tenancy. If there are any discrepancies, the costs may be deducted from the tenant's bond. Completing the tenancy process will ensure that you have happy tenants and a smooth management process.